I don't get it, dude. He has evil riz. He really does. Chat, you don't understand. It's not even like Carol Hines or Cheryl Hines or whatever her name is, like the Larry David's wife in Curb Your Enthusiasm that he's married to. But like, remember, Olivia Newsy, that fucking writer that wrote a profile on him, fell in love with him. And like in the profile, she says he smells bad. Like, how do you do that? How do you go from he smells bad to like sexting this guy who is married? It doesn't make sense. No, we don't claim liking that man. Please, I beg you. You just have never been around him, okay? His stink-maxing aura has never captivated you. The olfactory cues being tickled by RFK Jr.'s disgusting scent. He's stinky. And ladies love a stinky man who's out of his fucking mind. Oh, how can someone who has a big heart in some areas have such a cruel heart in others? He's a huge walking contradiction, but one thing I know for a fact, his truth meter is broken. Yeah. He's a quirked up stinky boy. Anyway, I'm going to skip this. We got more coverage. We covered the 60% of Americans. This guy says, seems that Tucker Carlson is seeing the future of the Republican Party. In contrast to the older Republicans, only 24% of younger ones sympathize mostly with Israel, and 22% say Israeli actions are justified. More young Republicans say U.S. policy in the Middle East mostly serves Israeli than U.S. interests. This is the latest UMD CIP poll. Americans are now more sympathetic with Palestinians than Israelis. A wide gap emerged between younger and older Republicans. A lot more here. Thinking about the ongoing conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, are your sympathies more with the Israelis or with the Palestinians? 46% of Republicans say their sympathies are more with the Israelis. 6% of Democrats say their sympathies are more with the Israelis. And when it comes to more with the Palestinians, 49%. So the plurality goes to the Palestinians for both Democrats, independents, and all respondents in general. Okay. Both equally, independents are both sideists at 30%, and Democrats still have 25% equally. Neither is an interesting one. The let God sort it out understanders. By the way, there's a genocide happening. I just want to remind people. So, like, not taking a stance or saying equal parties are actually responsible for this genocide is, again, completely insane. Of course, neither is probably the most insane, I guess. Like, well, I don't know about this. Neither is just like, I don't care about anything, dude. Anyway, thinking about the ongoing... America is such a deeply... This is why Dems aren't dropping Israel. Women are stupid. What? Poopy pee-pee man. Are you okay? Take a day off for that statement. Poopy pee-pee man. Anyway, they're usually chill. Oh, you mean Poopy Pee-Pee Man? I love Poopy Pee-Pee Man. I don't know where that misogynistic take came from, but normally Poopy Pee-Pee Man is one of my favorites. You're a total cuck bitch for always using there's a genocide going on. I can't tell you what you need to do to improve the lives of everyone around you, but I'm thinking it. Okay. And I think you know it too, deep down inside. You know exactly what I'm thinking. You're thinking it too every day. We're literally in the conversation of We're having a conversation about public polling on Israel's genocide against the Palestinians. And this motherfucker's like, bro, you're such a bitch, dude. Yes, dude, you got your notes from the dumbest, the dumbest bottom feeders on the planet. A fucking, you got your notes from a slop tuber, brother. You are at 1 HP brain power. Nothing there. Nothing at all. Okay. Good luck, though. Or it's an Israeli? Nah, that's a guy who watched like one of these fucking losers. Asman went offline 2 minutes ago. Asman's number one. Oh. Nice. Welcome back to the 8 hogs that are conducted by far left elements in this country. Okay? It's just not even close. That's not even a comparison. There's no comparison whatsoever. The overwhelming majority of domestic terror incidents that have taken place on U.S. soil post 9/11 have overwhelmingly come from far-right, anti-government radicals, okay? Many of them are white nationalists. Many of them are white supremacists. But the broadest categorization is far-right anti-government extremism. That's the FBI's designation, okay? Even if there are dudes who are Latino, this has also happened. They are still them calling, pizza deliveries to their homes and then slowly but surely doing even more and more insane shit. It's basically like serialized gang stalking for content purposes. Now, but why? What does one achieve with that? A sense of community, a sense of shared purpose, a sense of making someone else's lives as miserable as their lives are in any given moment. In most circumstances, the people that are participating in this shit have the exact same kind of mental illness as the victims. They hate themselves, and this, I think, like reasserts a sense of control over their own lives by ruining another person's life. It's just like pure sadism. And Nazis, even if they are white women, they're still Nazis. There's a black white supremacist school shooting that took place recently. Okay? Straight up. It's not even a question. Like, people think, oh, well, this person is black, so it's obviously an extreme leftist incident. And then you look at their writing and it's like literally a dude saying like black people are the N-word and should all die. So the driving motivator is always white nationalism and white supremacy. Is not even a question. But what's actually crazy about it, in spite of that well-sourced, factually based reality that I am telling you, every single time there is another white nationalist neo-Nazi terrorism incident on U.S. soil, the fucking white nationalist neo-Nazis go online and try to say, this is not one of us. That's a trans person. This is not one of us. That's a woke. Did they have a blue hair? That's a woke. Did they shoot Donald Trump? That's a woke. These guys are so fucking violent, they even unload on their own preferred presidential candidate at times. Okay? It's not my fault. That's a you problem. You got to deal with that. Even in like incidents such as David DePipe, the person, the fucking far right psycho that went into Nancy Pelosi's home to try and kidnap Nancy Pelosi and kill Nancy Pelosi, we very quickly found out that his motives were because he was a Gamergate victim, which is so pathetic. This guy became far right because of Gamergate, okay? And as soon as his motives were known, or even before his motives were known, people, including Elon Musk, tried to say, nah, he's a gay homosexual lover of Paul Pelosi. He's not one of ours. He's a leftist. He's a woke. He wokely tried to kill Nancy Pelosi. It's like, bro, you're in the forums with these guys. You look exactly like these guys. You see the world from the same exact fucking destroyed lens as these guys. You're probably egging some of these guys on to go and commit the acts of domestic terror. And then when they finally do it, you turn around and go, not me. I can see your fucking profile name. It says like Groiper Himmler pedophile 1488. It's you. You're the next one. The fuck do you mean this guy is a woke? You were in the chat rooms with this motherfucker, and now you're acting like he's a leftist. What are you talking about? And if you have a level of fucking shame in your heart for like this kind of traumatic incident unfolding, then you should maybe reflect on your behavior online before you start immediately claiming that this person is a fucking woke or a radical leftist or some shit. And ultimately, all of this is still a distraction away from the real point of contention, the real problem here, which is impossible to solve because we fucking love the thing that people use to commit these atrocities, guns. Okay? That's it. It's the common denominator. And because we're never going to get gun control and people are tired of trying to demand gun control, okay, people just like look for alternative reasons. Some don't even look for alternative reasons nowadays. They just immediately go, oh, the shooter's trans. Doesn't matter if the shooter is actually trans or not. Every single one of them is trans automatically. I thought maybe the attention would shift away from trans people back to Muslims like it used to in the good old days post 9/11. But nope, still trans. Maybe they're trans Muslims now. You know, put it together. Combine the two. Next time, it's not just trans, it's a trans Muslim who hated Israel. Jesus fucking Christ. It's so crazy.
At school and at church.
Yeah, Robin on July 29th with posting on Skibbity Farms. I can't believe that's what it's called. Jesus fucking Christ. That they were looking for music suggestions to shoot up a church. They got suggestions and also folks egged Robin on. These people come from the darkest corners of the internet. Yes. Skibbity Farms is like Kiwi Farms. It's a lolcow website. Remember, there are too many normies in here that don't know what this is, but there's this thing on the internet called lolcowing, okay? These guys love going to forums and finding, oftentimes trans targets that are very vulnerable, that come from marginalized backgrounds, that have like mental health complications, and they dox them, and then they turn them into lolcows. Like they try to puppeteer their lives. It's a very dark process. Except, oh, that was debunked. That account is still posting today. Well, anyway, the process of lolcowing is still a very real concept, and it's very similar to the Order of Nine Angles. Which is most likely where the shooter came from. I'm Gen Z and don't know half the words you're saying. This wasn't the shooter's account. This is why I wait to put stuff out. I'll respond in full tomorrow. Also, I am not going to shoot up a church. I'm not the Minneapolis shooter. He's a T-word who is dead, and I'm a dude who is in bed with your mom. Skibbity Farms, I think, is just like another one of those fucking lolcow forums out there where a lot of these like edgy neo-Nazis frequent, okay? It's a doxing forum, okay? It's a forum that is created with the express purpose of doxing and manipulating the lives of some of the most marginalized people and also content creators as well. Like some of the more common lolcows are people like Darkside Phil and what is it, Wings of Redemption, Boogie 1488, whatever. Those guys are more popular versions of that are like even normies are aware of, even if they don't know what that is, like what lol cowing is. Chris Chan is another one, as a very famous one. And basically the goal there is to actively try to ruin the lives of these people that they target, and make their life a living hell, just unbearable. And they try to do that by doxing. Some people enjoy it from afar because these people are fascinating, I guess. And other people actually actively tap the glass, as I like to call it. And that's like even less healthy than the already unhealthy fascination that people have with these figures. And I think that it's become even more commonplace, especially with like TikTok. The version of this on TikTok is what's that kid, the World of Shirts or whatever. Like that's a real life TikTok example of that, where people are, egging these people on through live streams and egging these people on in any way, shape, or form to actively push them further and further into the depths of depravity. And with like Kiwi Farms, for example, one of their goals is to like actively get trans people to kill themselves, right? So they have like a scoreboard of trans people that they've been able to successfully cause the suicide of. Another recent version of this was what happened with Kick. If you remember, the French Kick streamers, they were participating in this process directly. Yeah, it's a horrifying thing that has become more normalized as the internet has gotten worse and worse. So literally the worst lore iceberg ever. I mean, what do you want me to do? It's just a thing that happens online. It's really fucked up. And it used to happen less frequently, but now it's unfolding in real time, in broad daylight. It's like normies are engaging in it without realizing that they're engaging in it. But the reason why I'm bringing up all of this is because there's an even darker side to this, which is what the Order of Nine Angles is, where a lot of these people who are like deeply mentally ill that find themselves in the throes of radicalization, far-right radicalization, that desperately seek out even more edgy, more radical forms of self-actualization through, neo-Nazi sentiment and the like, find themselves in these groups called Terrorgram groups. They're Telegram, which is a social media platform that's operated by some Russian dude and is, as far as I know, I think, or until recently was not, didn't have any back doors into intelligence communities in the West. They have Lamau passing blame. What do you mean? So the victims hated their life? The victims? I'm not talking about the victim. I'm talking about the perpetrator of this act of terror. I think you might be too stupid to understand the English language. Like I'm very clearly communicating what is. The victims are little kids. I'm talking about the fucking mass shooter and how this mass shooter found themselves in this in the throes of radicalization. Why is this Asmongold acolyte? Anyway, I think you misspoke and said hate their lives as much as the victims. Oh, when I was talking about lolcowing, yes, the victims in that situation do hate their lives. Yes, they do. Yeah. And they actually identify suicidal tendencies deliberately and push into it. They lean into it to try to egg them on, to drive them to the point of suicide. Yes. But this other thing that I'm talking about is different. And it's an even more depraved version of this, but structurally it works in the same way. You find like people that are just deeply mentally ill, deeply resentful, deeply angry, and they frequent these like Telegram channels, broadly known as Terrorgram. And the goal there is not dissimilar to the goal that lolcow enjoyers engage in. But in this circumstance, the goal there is to egg on one another to commit an act of terror. Okay? That's it. So these people are like, ooh, we're so edgy, we're being nihilistic. But the goal there is to get people that are in these Telegram groups to go out. They offer reverence and great respect to former white nationalists, white supremacist terrorists, and their ultimate goal is to become a revered figure such as those that came before them. And they actively egg people on, and this is yet another shooter that came out of one of these groups.
I won't dignify the shooter's words by repeating them. They are horrific and vile.
Call.
But in short, the shooter wanted to watch children suffer. Yesterday was a tragedy for the city and our state. My heart goes out to the entire Annunciation community. Their loss is unimaginable. I want the state of Minnesota to know that when a tragedy like this occurs, we all stand together. Federal, state, and local law enforcement work together side by side. The FBI, the ATF, the BCA, Minneapolis Police Department, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, including their victim advocates who have been working with the families yesterday and today. The list goes on. This has been a tough summer for Minnesota, but I take heart knowing that we all stand together in confronting this evil. Thank you. I'll turn it back to Chief O'Hara.
New details come out about the moments inside the church.
Yes.
About the doors being locked. How that might have protected some kids. Could you talk to us about that?
So the question was about the doors being locked at the church. Annunciation Church had a practice that once Mass began, they locked the doors of the church. This incident occurred shortly after the Mass was beginning. So there's no question that the fact that the doors were locked likely saved additional lives. At the same time, we also know that the shooter intended to barricade and did barricade the doors on the same side of the church where the shooting occurred. So what's particularly heinous and cowardly about this is these children were slaughtered by a shooter who could not see them. He was standing outside of the building, firing through very narrow church windows on the level where they would line up with the pews. And even ultimately, when he got to the rear of the church, was an entryway that's basically all glass, and fired out the window where a person could walk in, ultimately did not walk in.
It's crazy. What about door control is unironically a thing that we used to make fun of. And now it's like the first question and it's a given. And then the answer is no, there was door control. Don't worry. Well, it seems to me that even door control is ineffective. Maybe we should control another element that is at the heart of every single one of these incidents.
Before the shooting?
I did not say that. So the question was, did the shooter attend Mass in the weeks before? We know that previously the shooter had attended that parish and had attended that school when they were younger.
Is there anything, any evidence that this person was radicalized or part of some online groups or anything like that that would have inspired this behavior?
Yeah. So the question was if the individual was radicalized, I guess, for a specific cause or a part of some online groups. And the answer is no, we have not found evidence of that, other than, again, just this fascination in general with many, many different previous mass shootings, mainly in this country, but also some from around the world.
So many stories are now emerging of the panicked moments inside that church and also the bravery of everyone who was inside that church as well. We're joined now by 13-year-old Javen Willis. He's an 8th grader at Annunciation. He's with us along with his mother, Melissa. Javen, let me start with you. I know you've been at Annunciation for a number of years now. You're in Mass yesterday with your buddy. and all of a sudden you hear those shots ring out. What did you do then, Javen?
Well, right when I heard the shots, I knew something was off. I didn't think that they would have, a lot of my classmates thought it was confetti and fireworks, but I didn't think they would have that during the middle of the church service. So honestly, it was just, at that point, I was like, I want to try to keep everybody as safe as possible. So I told me and my two buddies to get down and to get under the pew. And right when I told them that, it was like a state of shock for me, and I knew that I had to try to keep as many people around me as I could safe.
While you're down there on the floor, keeping yourself safe, keeping your buddies safe, what was going through your mind?
Well, right when it happened, knowing that with God on my side, I would be fine. So I tried to just go and help out my fellow classmates, try to keep them calm and safe and let them know that they'll be okay.
You're a young man of great faith. I understand that you were just baptized last week. Mom, I want to turn to you for a second, because as I understand it, you're on this, like a lot of moms, you're on this text thread with moms. You're at work. You start to hear about what's going on there at the church. You spring into action. You get to the gym. What did you see when you got there? What was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was terrifying. You just never think that this is going to be your reality. There was quite a large perimeter set up, so I just parked as soon as I got within a couple of blocks of the school. And by the time I got there, they were already starting to let parents into the gym to look for our kids. So I didn't have to wait, thankfully. But yeah, they were ushering us all in and down to the gym where the kids were all at to find our kids.
And you saw your boy there, and you were able to put your arms around him for the first time. What'd you say?
Yeah. I just cried. I just thanked God and cried and held him. And, you know, just thankfully I was one of the ones who did get to see my kid when I got there.
Thank you. You've got a special young man there, too, by the way. Javen, I heard as you were leaving the church, you were fist bumping the officers and thanking them on the way out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't want to just sit there and think about it, so I just thanked the officers, because without them, who knows how much worse this could have been. It was bad in general, but it could have been way worse than that if they didn't.
Bro, we're officially getting dumber in society. Every fucking outlet is like looking to interview the kids. They're like, yeah, this kid loves cops. Like, it's just like, what is, oh my Lord, dude. What the fuck? It's just like, people just like come in and ask like feedback from 12-year-olds that just experienced a mass shooting. Like, this concept is so busted to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like the friend who's too woke, but I truly don't understand that. But I guess, fuck it, you know? Fuck it. Dystopia time. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, thank you for being brave, little one, for withstanding a mass shooting. Like, that's crazy. Like, nowhere on the planet should a 13-year-old feel unsafe like this. Of course, this is the reason why I keep repeating over and over again that, like, a society that does this to its own children and refuses to find solutions to stop this from happening to its own children is not going to give a fuck about kids in Gaza. Okay? That's it. That's it. And it's not just like, it's white children too, which is the highest form of child in the eyes of a white supremacist society. We let little white babies get killed. So of course, nobody gives a shit about what's going on in Gaza. It's like a sacrifice that we must make because the weapons manufacturing, the small arms manufacturing industry has to, you know, keep turning profit year over year. Come on. That's it.
Heard Jonah Kaplan talking there with Anders Holeen, a father. He also caught up with Holeen's 9-year-old daughter, June, who was inside the church when the shooting happened. And Jonah is here now with us. Jonah, good morning to you.
Maurice, it's so tough to kind of just comprehend what happened, and especially when you talk with these incredible
RPG sauce. I don't want this sub. Can you take it away? No, you're cooked. Everybody now knows you are a diehard Hasanabi head. That's right. You have to live with that stain for the rest of your life. He's not even following, but he can write in the chat because he's subbed. Everybody point at RPG. Everybody welcome RPG Sauce, a lover of this community, a prominent fixture of this community, one of the most important parts of this community. You are branded, tarnished with a scarlet letter that will forever be a stain on your reputation on this website that you've been on since 2020-05-15. Yeah. You've been branded. One of the cornerstones, yeah, a pillar. A pillar. He can't leave. He's in here. He's in here with us. He's stuck here with us forever.
children, so many survivors. Nearly 400 were inside the church. That included June in 4th grade, her younger sister who just started 1st grade, sitting in the back of the church with their classmates, with their teachers. And when they heard that gunfire, of course, everything changed in that mass. We asked them what happened at that moment that they knew something was wrong.
I heard the noise and I kind of got scared at first. It was like a big firework that was like super duper duper like close. Like if like somebody did a firework that didn't launch off like in your ear, that's kind of how loud.
What were you most scared?
I was scared about if I would get hurt. I was worried about like everybody getting like hurt and injured.
So you heard it, someone grabbed you?
My teacher just jumped on the floor.
What was it like with your buddy holding your hand like that? How did that make you feel?
A little bit safer.
Did it feel like she was kind of watching out for you?
Yeah.
Okay, and you run to the Starbucks.
Yeah. They were letting us like try and call our parents and
Okay, there's got to be more.
Well, this morning we're also learning more about the people impacted by this horrific shooting.
Okay.
Reagan. Thanks, Caroline. I have two questions for you. Sure. Democrats, including former White House Press Secretary Jen.
I'm trying to think of any benefit to this, and all I can think of is maybe this resensitizes people to school shootings, but like, why the fuck do people need to be resensitized to fucking kids dying? No, I don't think this does anything. I don't think people think about like the humanity of the victims. I think it's just like a pure fascination, I guess. I don't know. I don't see what the newsworthiness of that is. We are the only country that thinks this is cool, by the way. I know. That's true. We're the only nation on the planet where this happens with regular frequency, and we just keep going, I don't know how to fix it. We know how to fix it. Nobody wants to fix it. It's just not happening.
And Psaki and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey attacked prayer and pushed gun control in the aftermath of yesterday's shooting. What's the White House's response to their comments?
Yes, I saw the comments of my predecessor, Ms. Psaki, and frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful to the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Brother. Oh my God, dude. How dare you? How dare you speak out against the power of prayer? It's the only thing we got against the fucking stopping school shootings.
What's the White House's response to their comments?
That's what it is, yeah.
Secretary Jen Psaki and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey attacked prayer and pushed gun control.
Attacked prayer and pushed gun control. I hate this fucking place, dude. We are so stuck. They said thoughts and prayers clearly don't work. This was a shooting at a church during the process of prayer. Okay? They're not even being like r/edgy atheists. Okay? They're simply saying a fact. They're saying that we need solutions, and thoughts and prayers is being cynically deployed as a mechanism to not find solutions. And now they've decided that this is the new culture war that culture warriors will fight on. Which is, well, how dare you come after Christian prayers? Just say you don't think mythology is real? Oh, you're so disrespectful. No, I just like, it's not even that. This isn't even about like a fucking admonishment of Christianity or prayer, dude. What the fuck? They are cynically reframing it as such in an effort to hyper focus on another perceived victimhood narrative. No, it's bait. He's agreeing with me and he's making a joke. But I'm not even saying like fuck Christianity or some shit. And neither are those people. Okay? I know that person was just like joking around. This is what Jen Psaki tweeted. Prayer is not freaking enough. Prayers does not end school shootings. Prayers do not make parents feel safe sending their kids to school. Prayer does not bring these kids back. Enough with the thoughts and prayers. I hate these fucking demonic entities too, because none of them give a fuck about God or Christianity, and they just simply wear it like a defense mechanism, okay? Like, yeah, Jen Psaki sucks or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. She's not wrong. It's literally correct. Thoughts and prayers is most commonly deployed in the aftermath of these things. And there's a reason why people immediately joke about, oh, thoughts and prayers, because they just deploy it as a way to push the conversation back, to push the actual conversation that needs to be had, which is gun control. Okay? They don't want real solutions to this. So they just go, oh, thoughts and prayers. Now they've decided to attack people saying we need real solutions, not thoughts and prayers, by cynically claiming that cynically making it seem as though these are like people demonstrating anti-Christian sentiment. It's another evasion mechanism. It's another way to deflect the attention away from a productive solution, even productive discourse. Okay? We pray because our hearts are broken. We pray because we know God listens. We pray because we know God works in mysterious ways and can inspire us to further action. Why do you feel the need to attack people praying for their kids when kids were just killed praying? Well, that's kind of the point, don't you think? That's kind of the point. Like, kids were killed while they were literally in the process of praying. We should do everything in our power to make sure that that doesn't happen. You know? Of all the weird left-wing culture wars in the last few years, this is by far the most bizarre. How dare you pray for innocent people in the midst of tragedy? What are you even talking about? He knows exactly what people are talking about. He has to posture like he's too stupid to understand. I don't think J.D. Vance gives a single fuck about Christianity or God or prayers, by the way. Okay? Suck my dick. I really hate to be all Reddit atheist, but like, if you're a religious person, what message are you supposed to take away from a mass shooting happening in a place of worship that your God willed it to happen? Either you heard God prayers and hates you, or you didn't hear, which means your prayers do nothing. I mean, yeah, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid that you'd be like, oh, well, how dare you? How dare you attack thoughts and prayers? No, dumbass. They're not attacking the concept or the function of prayer. They're saying that clearly prayer doesn't fucking work. We need actual solutions, because you dumb fucks cynically deploy thoughts and prayers as a way to push the conversation back until people forget about it. Oh.
Miss Psaki, and frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful.
I can't wait for the 700 different like slop tuber oriented videos that come out of like, they hate God. They hate God. The left attacks God, gets owned in the marketplace of ideas. Oh, God. It's just deflection. The more you have a conversation around like whether the left hates God or not, the further you move away from finding a productive solution to this problem.
Respectful to the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful to deride the power of prayer in this country, and it's disrespectful to the millions of Americans of faith. And I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves who need it right now more than ever.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube.
We now turn to new details about who's behind a series of security scares on college campuses. This morning, as police in Minneapolis investigate the nation's most recent school shooting, college campuses across the country are grappling with active shooter hoaxes.
We were eating and me and him went to go throw out our garbage and we saw the active shooter alert, so everybody started running off.
In recent days, police flooding the University of South Carolina, the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Villanova.
We didn't hear anything, didn't see anything. An officer came in with his pistol drawn, asked us if we heard any gunshots. We said no. He said, pack everything up that you have, get out of the building.
A swatting group called Purgatory is believed to be behind those hoax calls and nearly a dozen others, resulting in lockdowns and, in some cases, panic.
Purgatory is a group of young people that are located in various countries. They come together online and they operate as an organized cell, engaging in swatting for hire or swatting for their own purposes to include gaining notoriety. They want to gain notoriety so others will hire them for more swatting.
At least 10 hoax calls to universities were apparently made using Google Voice services. The calls even featured the sound of gunshots. The Purgatory Group is said to offer its followers a menu of services, charging as little as $20 for each hoax threat.
In some cases, those engaging in swatting are young. They are teenagers. I've seen cases where they've been in high school. They will sometimes get paid to swat, often not for a lot of money, but they really do it for the notoriety. They do it for the thrill.
Now, officials are reminding people that issuing any hoax threat is a federal crime.
A couple questions on the shooting yesterday. The first one, this is the second shooting involving a trans-identifying shooter who specifically targeted Christians and Catholic kids. What kind of consequences do the gender-affirming therapists, doctors, or even the parents of these shooters face after these types of shootings?
Well, as for the parents and potential therapists in this case, again, all of that is still currently being investigated by the FBI. I know the Secretary of Health and Human Services this morning said that HHS is investigating perhaps links between some of these drugs and these prescription drugs that some of these minors may be taking and an increase in violence. And obviously we have mental health problems in this country that this administration and Secretary Kennedy will continue to speak out about and the work that we're doing to solve it.
Thank you. And just to follow up, I've seen a lot of calls for action, among these lawmakers saying that we shouldn't just be praying. One that I've seen on the right, actually, is calls for the FBI to institute a new class of domestic terrorism that involves trans ideology. Is that something that the administration...
Kennedy renews attack on antidepressants after church shooting. That's awesome. Every new school shooting is a new opportunity for people in positions of power, by the way, to tackle whatever fucking gripes that they personally have. Okay? Awesome. Seriously. RFK's like, oh, it's the antidepressants. We're going to make them illegal. JD Vance is talking about how, the left hates prayer or some shit. There are people online that are, there are Kash Patel and other people online are like, oh, this is because of trans people. We should lock up every trans person. Incredible stuff.
would support?
I would have to check with the appropriate people on that.
We do have other news this morning, including a mass.
Yeah, meanwhile, the CDC is on fire. CDC Director Susan Menares ousted less than 1 month after being confirmed by Senate.
Massive shakeup at the Centers for Disease Control. Now, the White House says it's fired CDC Director Susan Menares barely 1 month after she took over. Her lawyers say she, quote, refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated public health experts. Other top CDC officials have resigned. So let's bring in CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder, editor at large for public health at KFF Health News. Celine, good morning. I want to start with the status of the director, Susan Menares, as well as these other resignations. What can you tell us?
Like, what do they think is going to happen if they cut access to, like, antidepressants? Like, these guys say mental health is, like, the primary thing here, the primary reason why these sorts of, like, incidents take place. And then they're like, and we want to make sure that the limited number of people who do have access to this medication no longer have access to it. What the fuck do you think is going to happen after that? Like, what are we talking about? I guess, fuck it, purge time? I don't know. It's just... I mean, it is eugenics for sure. Like, it's just, if you are in any way, shape, or form, like, suicidal, depressive, and you are medicating, and that's, like, allowing you to be the functioning member of society, then, we're going to shut that off for you, too.
This is a complete meltdown at the CDC right now. I've spoken to dozens of employees at the CDC over the last day. Here's what they've told me. On Monday, Dr. Menares was scheduled to have an in-person all-hands meeting to reassure the staff that they were doing what they need to be doing to make them safe. That meeting was canceled. It was considered not a priority. She was summoned to Washington, D.C. There's been some friction between Menares and Kennedy over vaccines, in particular COVID vaccines, and the upcoming CDC Vaccine Advisory Committee meeting that's coming up in September. There are a lot of concerns about what's going to be said there. Is this going to be his moment to announce, vaccines do cause autism, of which I want to be clear, there's still no evidence of that. It's been thoroughly debunked. And then also that the administration has been unhappy with the way that she was talking about the shooting at the CDC. She wanted to write an op-ed about it, was stopped from doing so. And we're really dealing with a massive power vacuum, leadership vacuum, because it's not just Dr. Menares who's gone. You have 25% of the staff that's been fired. It's the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A number of the directors of the various individual centers have also been pushed out. And then 3 additional center directors resigned yesterday.
So if there's already a meltdown, there's already chaos, these calls for the ouster of Secretary Kennedy at HHS, which oversees CDC, tell me about those. I mean, are those helpful? Are they hurtful? What are people saying?
Well, I can tell you overnight, Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, who's also a physician, he contested the removal of CDC Director Susan Menares, and he said this will require oversight. He did not, however, address reports that she actually had reached out to him when she was dealing with some of these issues with Secretary Kennedy prior to her ousting. Senator Bernie Sanders said it's outrageous that Secretary Kennedy is trying to fire the CDC director for her commitment to public health and vaccines. And he's also calling for a hearing with Kennedy and the CDC director. And then you have Senator Patty Murray, who's calling for the immediate firing of Secretary Kennedy. She said if there are any adults left in the White House, it's well past time they face reality and fire RFK Jr. He is a dangerous man.
So hearing about these firings, what does this mean for the American people?
Look, the CDC, and this happens so much in the background, a lot of people don't realize the degree to which the CDC impacts the health of their communities, because a lot of this is filtered through state and local health departments, nonprofits in your community, but everything from the safety of your food, your water, gun violence, immunizations, falls by the elderly
It's
and nursing
ripple
homes.
effect and touch all of us.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to touch all of us. It's public health.
Yeah, Dr. Gounder, thanks for bringing some order to the chaos. Appreciate it.
That was the scene as a wave of Russian drones.
New CDC director is a close ally of Peter Thiel. Trump admin names new acting CDC director after Monera's fighting. Is awesome. Let's just give Peter Thiel the government, dude. Fuck it. We have mass shootings taking place. So obviously, what's the solution? Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel's Palantir surveillance technology with Israeli ontology. Okay, equipped. What's the solution to the CDC director? Bring in a Peter Thiel acolyte. That's what we got to do. You know, it's awesome. Jim O'Neill, a top deputy health and human services secretary, Robert F. Kennedy to serve as acting director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, following the ouster of Susan Monera's, who lasted mere weeks in her position. The White House removed CDC Director Susan Monera from her post for not being aligned with the president's agenda of making America healthy again, according to the White House spokesperson Kush Desai. But she's now saying the decision must come directly from Trump, who has not said anything publicly about her ouster. It's already been proven that SSRI meds raise your chances of self-harm. Why are people surprised? Why did these... Dude, you deserve this country. You really do. You deserve RFK Jr., bro. You know, good luck. What is this? I think I hate this freak as much as I hate Trump.
Child is supposed to look like. I'm looking at kids as I walk through the airports today, as I walk down the street, and I see these kids that are just overburdened with mitochondrial challenges, with inflammation. You can tell from their faces, from their body movements, and from their lack of social connection. And I know that that's not how our children are supposed to look.
Dude, look at how you look. Look at yourself. Fuck you, me. That's not how a human is supposed to look like. And God forbid somebody try to take your peptides away. You can pry my peptides away from my golden hands. I will never give up my peptides, nor my HGH. It's so wild that this motherfucker is literally the HHS secretary, man. Like, he is in charge of the CDC, bro. That's wild. What do you say? What do you do? What do you say? What do you do? So fucking crazy. Three other senior CDC officials resigned on Wednesday in reaction to her ouster. By the way, what is this? Fascinating thread from one of the leading researchers of RFK Sr. assassination. I was a friend briefly to RFK Jr., but the more I got to know him, the more I saw how he really had trouble telling fact from fiction. He could be so smart, especially about things he learned 20 years ago, but the things he read recently, he fell for just about anything conspiratorial. So horribly sad to see. And his stance on Palestine made me never want to talk to him again. He actually said maybe it's better if all the Palestinians were killed by Israel. I wish I were making that up, but I'm not. I mean, he has said that publicly too. Let's be real. I was introduced to him by David Talbot, who had known him for years, because Talbot couldn't talk him down from one of the disinformation lines in the JFK assassination story, that James Field killed JFK. He asked who knew that story could talk him out of it. I said, give him to me. We wrote about that in Probe, and I could convince him. He ignored my arguments, but when I sent him some actual data proving File's story to be false, he listened. Then I gained further credibility with him when I said, by the way, I know for a fact your father didn't approve of the Castro plots. Neither JFK nor RFK did, and it's in the CIA's own files that they didn't. That bonded us for a time. But then October 7 happened. I had a series of emails and phone texts with him. I think there was one voice combo in there as well. He kept quoting Alan Dershowitz as if he were an unbiased party. Most distressingly, he really seemed to think all Palestinians were taught from birth to kill Israelis, and therefore even babies were combatants. To be. That had to be completely destroyed for Israel's sake. I was horrified. I said to him, Bobby, you sound so racist. And that was pretty much the end of our discussion. He had launched his presidential bid and politely excused himself from further conversation. You know, it's really funny because he's also deeply anti-Semitic. It's just like he is like anti-Semitic in the way that you would assume him to be anti-Israel. You know what I mean? Like that level. I mean, he very openly said that the COVID COVID-19 pandemic was like crafted by Ashkenazi Jews and the Chinese as a bioweapon to kill non-Jews and non-Chinese. Like, that's crazy. And he's such a fucking conspiracy maximalist that, like, you know, there is no way that you believe in all those conspiracies and then don't assume that Jews are responsible for it. There's a level of conspiracy that once you go beyond it, it's always Jews that are responsible for it. And I know for a fucking fact RFK is at that level. So he just loves Israel, though. I heard from him. What I heard from him was when he called to ask me to help make a list of people that the CIA's records should be searched into the RFK assassination. This is Bobby, he said. I'm so furious at you, I said, literally shaking. Why, he asked. Palestine, I responded. He went back into it. They're taught from birth to kill. So are the Israelis, I said. He said, this is a subject for a much longer conversation. I said, what did you call me about? I love him and I can't stand him at the same time. What is this fucking riz that he has, dude? Ladies love this man. Okay? That I don't understand at all. Ladies love a little freak with a brain worm in his head, I think. He's a Kennedy? No, and their stores out of fears that black people were going to come in and riot and fucking steal shit. Except the only person that they ended up killing was another Korean guy in the process. It's not even like a super common thing that took place. There was a couple photos of like one of the people and yeah. These guys are just, it's a reference to both a systematized form of fascist violence with Pinochet's helicopter tours, again, anti-socialist, anti-communist violence, and then a reference to decentralized people's militia movements in the form of the rooftop Korean. Yeah. Yeah, targeting black people specifically, hypothetically, even though they literally killed Korean. I think 1 or 2 Koreans was the only people that they ended up shooting and killing in the process. Anyway. They shot 2, 1 died. Okay. It continues to blow my mind that you know all this. Why? I'm a fucking Ameriboo. So, the notion that this is something that happens. This is something that happens all the time, right? It's not a secret, I think, at this point, that the far right is far more violent than the far left ever could be. People will point to, like, you know, Black Lives Matter protests and whatnot and like broken down storefronts or whatever to say, that's not the case. Look at the BLM riots. They're all so scary or whatever the fuck. But like, there is no directional violence in the form of mass shootings and school shootings